Okay, we're live. All right, everybody. Shadows Lair Live, Season 2, Episode 10 already. I would like to welcome the amazing, very busy with all the accomplishments that he has accomplished, John KT, producer, writer, composer, teacher. Hi, how are you doing? And welcome to the show.
I'm doing good. Thanks for the introduction. How are you doing?
You, I'm doing great. I'm just ecstatic. I'm on episode 10 already.
That's good. Nice.
Yeah, it is. So, I heard that you have some new releases coming up.
I'm working on an album right now. Yeah, so I'm working on.
Yes,
I haven't done that in a while, so I thought I'd go back in the studio, and I've been working on that. So yeah, hopefully the end of the year I should have an album ready to release.
that's cool. So, I have a question about songwriting. What are
Okay.
the main top key components of composing a song?
Well, it depends. I mean, they can come in different forms for me. So it could start with a melody in my head, put it down, and I tend to store it away. And if I come back to it and I can remember it, then I mean I got something to start on. So um, lyrics are pretty hard for me, but I get an idea stuck in my head, and then I start to work around it, and then start doing word bubbles or whatever, taking out keywords. And yeah, so there isn't no set process for me. It's however it decides to come to me.
Nice. So, what about in production? Does that come to you differently than, say, a composition or even lyrical?
Yeah, I think sometimes it can happen in production. An idea might jump out. I might put it on the shelf and then go back to it and realize I've got something to build on. How I normally do it is I go in the studio and sit down, start rehearsing basically, or practicing or whatever you want to call it. But and then something might just jump out. I might just throw it in record and just catch it for a minute and then see if I can build on it. Um, it doesn't happen overnight. I mean, it's a long process, but I like working with a lot of others on production. So people send me ideas and then I build around their ideas as well. So, yeah.
That's cool. Um, so have you seen the thing on Facebook where people are complaining about having their music either removed or told their accounts are going to be taken down?
Yes.
And I was trying to explain to some people that it has to do with the copywriting, and if they're doing covers and they haven't licensed it properly to cover it, they will. So you know a little bit more about that than I do. So, like, is it the fact that maybe they may not be filing with the copyright office because everybody's told me, well, I copyright because every step is copywriting, and I'm like, but did you file with the copyright office?
Right. So the myth with copyright is this. Everybody thinks that you have to copyright your stuff in order for it to be protected. Yes, that's true. But it only protects you if there's a case brought against you. So, for instance, if you don't go to the Library of Congress or whatever copyright is around the world, I mean, I'm just talking from America's standpoint right now. Um, if somebody comes to you and says that you stole the idea, or you want to go and say that somebody else stole your idea and you have that copyright, that's the key to get into copyright court. If you don't have anything like that, good luck pulling a case, because you're not going to be fighting anybody, because the lawyers won't even take it. So what it is with Facebook, and this is a misconception that people have, is there's a difference between distribution and publishing.
Yes.
Publishing can be through a publisher, or you can be a self-publisher. People think that when they register with BMI or ASCAP, that oh, I'm registered as a songwriter, so my stuff is copywritten. Totally different process altogether. That's got nothing to do with the copyright. It has to do with the ownership. So songwriters are the last ones to get paid when it comes to BMI, because they're a performance rights organization. So what you're paying for, or what they're paying you for, is when your songs are performed live. So if you go out and you're standing on the stage singing your songs, report that set list back to BMI, and then you get the royalties from that. I think it's like Stage Live or something like that, and ASCAP has the same thing.
Yes.
So where the misconception comes with publishing and distribution, we pay distribution to put our music up on streaming platforms. Where Facebook is saying we're taking this down, it's not because they don't believe that it's not yours, it's because they don't have the written proof. And they're not in the industry of going out and chasing who's the owner, who's the publisher. They have agreements with certain record companies, publishers, or whatever, and so that's why there's music on there. Now, if you take your original song that's up on Spotify and you share that link, the chances are it's never going to come off of Facebook, because Facebook knows that it's distributed through Spotify, and if any claims come, it's going to Spotify or YouTube or any other, Apple Music. Now, if you turn on your video camera and start playing your song in the background, Facebook's going to shut it down, because they don't care who owns it at that point. It's not part of their agreement. So you can play your YouTube video. So what I always tell people is, if you're going to do a live, record it on YouTube and then push the link up onto Facebook. That way you're protected, because they're more worried about YouTube taking you down if it's an infringement. So that's what. But with cover songs, now we have another issue here. Cover songs don't have to be copywritten by you. They have to be licensed by you.
Yes.
So distribution will take care of that. But what distribution does is they give you a license for your recording to be up on platforms. It doesn't license you to go out and do a live video on Facebook and use the backing track or use your version or whatever. It's still going to come back and go, well, you're singing a cover song. So there's a lot of things that they need to be done on the back end. And this is where I always say to people is, everybody wants to be in the music business until it's time to do music business.
Yes.
And it's a simple concept. And the best way to get around it, like I said, if you do your live videos on YouTube and then share the links too, or find another platform to do them on and then share the links. Facebook won't take them down. But if you go straight to Facebook and do a live, chances are it's coming down, whether you own it or not. So.
Also, too, not a lot of people know that like Facebook and Instagram don't pay out royalties.
Correct. So don't be putting them up on that way. Do it the other way.
That's right.
YouTube will, especially if you're through distribution and you link your account.
Yes, that, and if you allow the advertising on your YouTube account too, that also helps too.
That's true. Yep.
So
publishing is a whole different ball of wax, though.
Oh yeah, that is. There's several steps that have to be taken.
Yep.
And I'm still learning about that.
I can give you a brief overview of how that works for licensing. So if you want to put a song into a movie or something like that, the first thing they look for is who owns the publishing, who owns the master recording. So you have to pay to be a publisher on ASCAP and on
BMI. You have to pay on both.
You have
either
to pay
which
both
one.
of them. Yeah.
Yes.
ASCAP is cheaper.
Yes.
I'll just say that, but it's worth having. It's basically you have a small business. You have to have sole proprietorship and all of that, so they know where to send the money to. So when your song gets picked up, even radio, even Spotify, there's a streaming royalty that you get outside of distribution. But if you're not registered with them as a publisher, you're not getting that.
Nope. Make sure that you're registered with the I think it's the MCL to get picked up around the world, so that way you can get your revenue.
MCL is paying me. I know that.
Well, you know your stuff, so
yeah.
Do you have a favorite instrument
that I like to play, or that I like the sound of?
Well, what do you have? A favorite that you like to play and a favorite that you like the sound of?
I'm a keyboard player, so I like to play keys. I like that a lot. My favorite sounding instrument, though, is the harmonica. I wish I could play it.
That
So
is a really cool instrument.
yeah, I just wish I could play it though. I like the sound of it, but
Well,
yeah,
maybe in time. You never
yeah.
know.
When I have some free time,
Yes. What other misconceptions do you think that there are in music that people may not be aware of?
big misconception is that because people are listening to you or following you on Facebook, Facebook is not the music industry. I firstly want to say that I've been sharing that for a lot because I've seen a lot of artists get discouraged because nobody is liking their music, nobody's listening to their music, but they got to find they've got to find their art, their fan base, and not everybody. I mean, my mom likes my music; she likes my voice. Well, that's my mom, but I'm not. It's like
Right.
my brother might not. So it's like you've got to find your audience, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what I sing. My mom's going to say, "Oh, that was good," because that's what mothers do. Um,
Yes.
and sometimes I think the misconception is the more likes and the more friends and the more, you know, the more pats on the back you get, the more successful you are. That's not necessarily true.
No, it's not.
So that's a big misconception, I think. And award shows is another one. I mean, this might upset a few people, but it's the truth. It's nice to get an award if you didn't nominate yourself for the award. So if you get an award given to you by, like somebody's voted for you or put your name forward, that's somebody that respects what you're doing and appreciates what you're doing. Now, if I'm going to write in my name on every award show and pay a bunch of money just so I can say that I'm an award winner, what am I really winning? I'm buying it,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So as chasing the awards is another misconception. Just because you can put award winning doesn't mean that you necessarily are if you just paid $50 to go and have it sent, have an
Right.
award, go and enter into awards, where everybody gets it. It's more like a participation award, at that point. So,
Yeah, I agree on that.
yeah,
Also, some people look at it because I've talked to others about their perception of it, and some of them just literally go just to network with other people and just
correct.
meet up and have like a family get together of another kind.
And that's
Um,
what it should be. Yeah. But it
but
becomes too, but becomes too much of a, um, I want to say pissing competition. You know,
yes,
it's
exactly.
like, well, I've got 3 awards, you've only got 1, so I'm gonna sit in the front, you could sit in the back, Like, it's like, no. It's like, all music people like, we're all family, we're all in this together, we all need to support each other. But if you support me, that would be great, but I won't even listen to your stuff, It's a
Yeah,
one-sided game, so
it really is. It
yeah.
really is. And I just gotta put this out there just because people have won multiple awards. If you're a douche, you're a douche. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many awards you have, it's how you treat your people.
Yeah. Did your ego get you the award by buying it, or did your talent get you the award? Because a
Exactly.
lot of people spend more time working on getting an award than they actually do tuning their guitar. Just say,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. But there are people out there that have been nominated, but not by themselves,
correct.
that really put in the work and, the time and the energy and the blood, sweat, and
Absolutely.
tears. So,
Absolutely.
you
Yep.
know.
That's true. This is
So
a good
who
conversation.
it really is. Now I want to
Yeah.
ask, who are some of your musical influences?
I have a lot. So I grew up in England, obviously. I mean, a lot of people know that. So I grew up around the time where the commercial reggae scene was getting pretty big over there. So one of my first groups, my favorite group of all, when I was in middle school to high school was UB40. Um, they didn't really get a big following until recently in the US. But there's a lot of commercial reggae bands that I used to listen to, like Aswad. There was Maxi Priest. Grew up listening to them, but I also took a lot of my influences from people like Stevie Wonder, um, George Gershwin. A lot of people are surprised about that, but Rhapsody in Blue, not the actual the whole thing, but the theme in the middle is what grabs me every single time. But so yeah, I've got a bit of a jazz influence, bit of a hip hop influence. I mean, yeah.
So, what song is your most played when you're streaming music?
When I'm streaming music,
Yes, what song do you play
oh,
the most?
well, it's interesting because I don't really pick out songs to play. What I normally do is I just pick a random playlist from YouTube Music or something like that. As I'm driving, I'll just put it on. Like, oh, I might, whatever mood I'm on. Like, might be soul, it might be reggae. But the nice thing about it is that they pull the music from all around the world. So you might be listening to a reggae playlist, and you've got New Zealand reggae, you got Australian reggae, you got British reggae, you got Jamaican. So it's like you get the crossover. Um, so yeah, I just pick random stuff.
What was the last concert you attended?
Last concert I attended was UB40 featuring Ali Campbell in Chicago back in 2019, I believe it was.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, it was cool. Yeah,
Okay, so do you do coffee or do you do tea?
coffee,
Coffee. What's your favorite coffee?
black coffee.
Black coffee, just straight up.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I normally go with Colombian coffee, but I mean, it's like the stronger the better for me. I like to taste the coffee, not like just have brown water. But I don't
Well,
know. I don't know how to order at Starbucks because I haven't taken that translation class or anything like that, so I wouldn't know what to order.
this is what my husband says. He says, I want a big, hot black coffee with
Yeah,
a little bit of cream.
yeah. I don't even put the cream in it, but when I go there, I just like give me a coffee. What kind? I don't care. Just give me a black coffee. That's it.
And I love it when they go, do you want a venti? And
Yes,
I just start
it's like
laughing. I'm like, tell them yes.
that's a measurement, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that is awesome. Um, do you, on an occasion when you're celebrating something really cool, like really big news that you got to share with your family and stuff, would you prefer a night out at a restaurant or would you prefer like a backyard barbecue?
Backyard barbecue.
Yeah,
I
them are
like
the
that.
best.
Yeah, yeah. But a fire, build a fire, sit around, and then you don't get interrupted by everything else that's going on. So
No,
yeah,
nope, them are the best. That and you can stay, eat, the dinner's open all night long. I mean,
yeah. My days of going out and late and stuff like that and is over now. I'm too old for that stuff now.
oh,
I feel that I'm too old for that. I'm not saying I'm too old or it's an age thing. I'm just saying that I've done my fair share in the old days. So I'm more of a homebody now. I'd rather stay down, downstairs in the studio or whatever.
I
So
totally understand. I
yeah,
really do. Do you have any pets?
no, I used to. I had a bull mastiff, boxer mix, when the kids were growing up, and when he passed away, I just can't get another pet. It's like it hurts so much that you just can't. There's nothing to replace him, so I'd rather not put myself through that again.
I am so sorry.
Yeah. So the kids don't, that they're all gone now and got their own places, so they can have their own pets or whatever. But I've got grand pets, I guess.
Well, hey,
So
that's cool too. I,
yeah.
I have a pit and lab mix that I adopted from our local shelter. It's Anderson County Paws, which I talk
Hmm.
about these guys all the time. They're a no-kill shelter. They're always over full. So if
Yeah.
anybody's looking to adopt, please go visit them on their website, and you can find them on Facebook and even YouTube, and look them up, and you can see what doggies are available. They also have kitties too. They have full growns. They have puppies. I got happy when he was 4, and he's going to be 9 in September. But they're an excellent, excellent. I can't say enough good things about that place. They're really good.
That's good. That's nice.
And if you can't
Yeah.
adopt, if you can donate, they're always in need of blankets and toys and things like that and food. So thank you, everybody that does help. And shout out to Anderson County Paws. So is
Yeah.
there a cause that you hold dear?
Yeah. Suicide prevention.
That is a good one. It's a very
Yeah.
important one.
Absolutely. So yeah, I've been part of an app. A family lost their son to suicide a couple years ago, and they decided to take the tragedy and do something good for the community. And it ended up going, I think it's gone global. But they designed an app. It's called Jacob Swag Foundation, and the app is called Got Your Back. You can find it at the App Store. It's free. And what it is you can put in like your contacts of people that you would reach out to if you was going through some, some depressing stage, or you're just struggling with anything. But also there are, some chill out activities, like some people suffer with anxiety, so there's videos on there that will calm you down. And you know I was chosen to be the voice of the activities, so I'm on the app counting down and saying, take it easy, that kind
You
of
do
stuff.
have
So
a very soothing speaking voice, by the way.
thank you.
You're
I've
welcome.
been I've been told that before.
I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah, so yeah, they picked me up for that. And yeah, now, so if you want, I mean, go download it, go to jacobswagfoundation.org and check it out. I mean,
Yeah, and I'm big in on supporting men's mental health too. So if
absolutely.
any men are out there listening, including my Navy vet nurse husband, he's at work. I love you, Ghost. I hope you guys have a good night tonight. Um, but if you guys, anybody at any point, because men's mental health, because men are supposed to be so strong and take on
Hmm.
so much. Well,
Yep.
I'm going to tell you, I've seen a lot of women when their man's in that weak moment take advantage and not be there for their man. Yes, men are supposed to be strong, but also they have to be soft too, and they have to have a time to deal with their emotions. If they don't do it publicly, if they're going through something, that's when the women please step up, so that way, because a lot of y'all don't think of it this way, you are your husband's safe place or
Hmm.
your boyfriend's safe place. Seriously, guys. So if you're not okay, it's okay to not be okay, but please reach out to somebody and don't make it too late.
Well said. I agree with that.
Thank you.
I've done it
Uh,
many times. I've had to do it many times. I'm not afraid to say it either. I mean, I grew up with, the stiff upper lip English thing, knock it off, it'll grow back,
mm-hmm.
get over it. Um, and sometimes you just can't. So, yep.
No, and it's just something that I'm very passionate about. Um, so also too, another thing that I'm passionate about too is up in Brockport, New York. I'm originally from upstate New York.
Okay.
Um, and there was this program started by Dr. Lieberman, and she has an amazing story. I actually follow capabilities on my music page. What it is a sports camp for people that are blind and visually impaired and or hearing impaired and deaf. These kids get to go there, and their athleticism is amazing because they even play a sport called goal ball, and everybody's on their hands and knees. It's like kind of like a different version of soccer, and it
Okay.
can be pretty intense. The whole audience has to be quiet the whole time. I watch these kids play. They even when they play beat baseball, their track, even the tandem biking, they go boating, and then they take the time to evaluate the kids on their athleticism for their disabilities, and they send back these packets for the parents to take to school. However, the school says that the kids are liabilities,
Hmm.
because I was a victim of that too. And in fact, my son, he dropped out of high school at the end of his 11th grade year because they would only allow him to walk the track. And what these schools don't really realize, or if they care or not, that is not cool to put on the mental health of a child, for one.
Right.
For two, they can safely play and do things, least restrictive environment possible, people. And then they don't want to take that into account, and they still make the kid feel less than. When these kids, when they go there and stuff, they're learning skills and things, and have, some of them might get noticed by, the Paralympics, which is the
Right.
same as the Olympics.
Hmm.
So these schools are actually hindering these children, and I wish it would stop.
I agree.
So So shout out to Camp Abilities and Dr. Lieberman and all the campers in this upcoming season. And June, they got another camp going on
Nice.
every year. So
Yeah,
that's pretty
when I
cool.
was a kid, I was taken to see a friend's brother, I think it was, at a blind school, and I remember them playing soccer with a bell in the ball, and I was amazed at the fact that they could
Yes.
find that ball better than I could. So yeah,
Yes.
I've witnessed that.
And competitive.
Hmm.
Wow. Some of
Yeah.
them are more competitive than what you see in the gym class.
Right.
So, and these
Yeah.
kids really, sometimes that's their only time to shine athletically because of that.
Yeah. I
So,
agree. Cool.
yeah. Um, so, are you a truck guy or a car guy?
I'm a car guy. Never grew up with trucks. We don't have pickup trucks like that in the UK. I used to say that, you know, we'd come over here. A truck is the new horse, right?
Yeah.
Cowboys cowboys want a horse so they go buy a big truck. So
Well, it happens.
yep.
Is there a favorite venue that you really love and enjoy to perform at?
I'm not a performer, that's the thing. That's a misconception of a lot of people because I produce and I record and songwrite. I have stage fright so bad that I don't think I could even get a word out if I was to stand on stage with a microphone in front of me. So that's kind of why I hermit away and produce the stuff behind the scenes and then put it out there.
Well, maybe one day, because
Maybe.
I used to be very camera shy and things like that until I did a bit on TikTok, and that thing was so toxic, I got off it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I'm not afraid to be in front of the camera anymore. So, I mean,
Well, that's good.
maybe one day.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe somebody will say, "Hey, come up on stage," and then I'll have no choice because I've had that happen to me before, where I went to the bathroom and somebody signed me up for a karaoke, and as I walked out, they said, "You're up next." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So to save face, I just did it. So
No, I know about that stage fright too because I used to do what we nicknamed the Anderson crawl around here, and we go out to karaoke night. But the only problem is I would have to be pretty much halfway in the bag to have the confidence to get up there. But every time I did it like that, I got a standing ovation.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's probably what I did too, and it's probably I got a standing ovation because I was standing.
Well, that and at a certain point of relaxation, you're telling yourself, you're like, you know what, I got this. I can do this. I'm gonna do this.
Well, that's what I always say too. You know, when you get put in a position like that, you get this anxiety burn, and then you realize, well, you know, I'm going to look more stupid if I just walk away and say I'm not doing it, than just enjoying it with everybody else. So, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people have confidence issues that people don't. It's taken me a minute because I'm still learning stuff
Hmm.
on the production side of things as far as music goes. But vocally, I have to wait. Need a hearing aid now
Yep.
for one ear. And so when I get that, but I also want to do a song before that so that way people can see the difference because I sent people some things to critique
Hmm.
and then some people used analogies to tell me that I couldn't sing and I couldn't write. And I'm like, okay, but you guys don't hear me when how the back girl's going on and
Yeah.
I'm just
Right.
popping off my own words
Mhm.
out of my mouth. I mean,
Yeah.
that's okay though, all in my own time. But someday it will be coming.
Yep. I kept quiet for a number of years. I mean, I actually quit music for about 4 years. And when I met my wife, I sat down at the piano one time, started playing for her, and she was like, "Where did that come from?" I was like, "Well, I've been playing for years." But so then she went out and got me a keyboard to start. You know, I said like, "You can't let that go." So I mean, but I would never sing. It wasn't until the lockdown came that I just, you know, I was in the studio and I was like, you know what? Maybe if I just tried, and ended up releasing an album in 2020. You know, it was called The Cover Up, and it was basically songs that I grew up listening to, and I reproduced them and did them my way, you know. So yeah, and then been doing it ever since, really.
That's so cool. Like, I know I keep saying that, but like I'm just I love what I do, so
Yeah.
and just like everybody and their stories and the way they do things, it really is cool. Like,
Well, that touches back on what you were saying about the misconception too. You have to love what you're doing. Otherwise, it's
yes,
a job, right? And that's
exactly.
that's one of the misconceptions is like somebody's like, "Well, I can play 3 chords and I can sing just as good as anybody else. How come I'm not famous?" That's not how you get famous.
No.
Yeah. Being famous is a luck of a draw, it's like winning the lottery. Most of the time, you don't have to be able to sing to become famous. You just have to have an image. So,
Oh, and another misconception I would like to throw out there too, in the independent industry, there's a lot of people that are actually their own labels. So, no, certain ones cannot just get you started. Also, too, there's other labels that work differently. It's not like mainstream. And the other misconception is when you get that money fronted to you, it's for you to produce your album, not for
mhm.
you to go buy houses and cars
Yep.
and party, y'all. Y'all
Yeah.
got that 100 wrong.
Yep. Especially now with the new deals that we got now too is the 360 deal. So if you get signed to a label and they give you a 360 deal, they'll give you some money up front, all right. And then what they'll do is they'll take all the money off the back end. So you'll be performing for probably 5, 6 years and come out with nothing.
And that's why Michael Jackson had a lot of money, but his label had a buttload more.
Yep. And then they bought the rights to the music.
Yep.
So yep, that's exactly it.
Also, too, for people who are under contract, after 7 years, as long as you own your music and make
Hmm.
sure and check your contracts first to make sure you actually own your music.
Yep.
Um, After 7 years, if you don't like what the label's putting you through and things like that, you can actually re record and rebrand those songs. But 7 years.
Yep. And make sure you own the masters too. Otherwise you'll be walking away with nothing.
That's right. Make sure
So
you get your master's, the whole nine. And make sure that you have your business license, your retail license, and make sure you have some kind of business insurance.
yep.
I have to highly recommend because without that, I wouldn't recommend even starting.
Yeah, and I mean, I have my own label. I have my own publishing company. Everything's through me. So if anybody wants anything from me, they have to come to me. I don't have a label. I don't have a manager. I mean, that's another thing too. Managers. What do you need a manager for? A manager is not going to go and get you work. They're going to manage your business. There's a difference. Now, promoters. Anybody that asks you for money up front is probably going to disappear because promoters get a percentage of what they promote. So
Yes.
same with a manager. When a manager goes to a booking agent and the booking agent books you into a restaurant or a nightclub or wherever, they get a percentage of your takings. They don't get paid up front so that they can leave you with 2 people standing at the front of the bar, like booing you and saying, "Well, I got paid. I don't care."
Right, and don't
You,
get over arrogant about the splits either, guys, because
yeah,
you got to split the ticket sale, you got to split the tickets, the door fee, whatever it is. Then maybe bar percentage tips. Oh, and then the venue gets a certain percentage of your merch sales. So don't get over zealous on the riders.
yep. That's the 360 deal right there. Everybody gets a percentage of something. So if you think about that, if you can book yourself into a nightclub or a bar or something and play, that money's going in your pocket. If you're just taking somebody to sit there and drink at the bar, and say, "I'm your manager," that's you're just feeding another kid. That's all you're doing. You got another mouth to feed.
No, the
So,
way the way I do things on my own label, my own everything across the board, including publisher, all that. However, I do have a promoter who's an independent promoter too as well. But what
mhm,
I'm trying to do is, as I go up the ladder, I'm trying to take people with me. I'm trying to get her to be noticed. She's already won one award, but I can attest to her work that she did for the client prior to me,
mhm.
and she really does get results. She excels at what she does. So if anybody out there is looking, please hit up Angie O'Brien. I can attest to the work she did to her client prior and the work that she's done for me. Plus, she's got one hell of a resume and promotions from like JD Legends and things like that, where she helped out there and things. She's phenomenal.
And that's the thing as well. That's one of the first things you want to do when you do have a promoter, they need to have something to show you that a background or whatever, the successes, because a lot of them are inbox messages that you get, and they go, "Hey, come with me. I'll get you all these followers and that, but you just pay me $300." And then
Yeah, no,
you don't and you don't see them again.
no,
So I always say that the empty vessel always makes the loudest noise. So when
yeah.
somebody starts talking to you like, "Well, I'm friends with the person that knew such and such," well,
I'd be like,
that
and
that means you didn't know them. You just know
right,
somebody that said they know them. So I
right.
stay away from that. Yeah,
That is
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But no, that I'm trying to think of what the other oh, and there are several different ways to write, and there's several different ways you can actually compose songs when you're writing the words. With lyrics, you can do a thing like a ballad or take a poem and put it to music too as well.
Hmm.
Also, and in my research, and as long as I've been listening to music, not every song has a hook, not every song has a bridge like that. So I do appreciate the different writing styles that people do. Also, there's a lot of artists that have a problem with pen to paper writing, and they just there's something, it's the way they're wired, that it just doesn't happen that way. But if they get a track or they hear something, then they come up with something,
Hmm.
that I call that reverse writing. I don't know what the technical term is, but that's how I refer to it.
Oh, top lining.
Okay, there you go.
So a top liner is somebody that comes in and puts lyrics to a track that's already been made. So it's been going on for years, especially in the reggae industry. If you listen to a lot of reggae songs, they all use the same backing track and they just do their own thing over it, and they call them rhythms. Um, and they'll have an whole album with just one song all the way through, but a different artist is coming on doing their own thing, and that's how they showcase. Now, for me, with writing songs as well, is I try to break the mold, because there's so many rules, so-called rules in writing music. Um, Mess with time signatures, key changes. I mean, just because the song's in a certain key doesn't mean you have to sing it in that key. Move it up to your key, so that you don't sound like you're straining. There's a whole bunch of stuff you can do, but like I said, I always say, words without music is a poem. It's not a. I mean, the legal binding term for songwriting is a songwriter. A song is a melody and lyrics. Now, if you have one and not the other, then you have an instrumental or you have a poem. So,
Yeah.
it's simple as that. So if somebody comes around and goes, "Hey, I've written this song. Can somebody write some music to it?" You've written a poem and you want somebody to compose to it. So there's a misconception there where it's like people go, "Oh, I just need someone to play the piano. I have the melody in my head." Well, I can't hear it. I can't hear it in your head. So when writers get frustrated when they write music and stuff, and that part gets shoved to the side of like, "Well, they did the music, I wrote the song." Mm-mm. You both wrote the song. So, and if somebody's in the room with you while you're writing them lyrics, remember the term, say a word, get a third. Never ask somebody's input for them to change a line or something like that, because now they own part of that song.
Yes,
So
that is wow. You are a very interesting person, I have to say.
thank you.
No, just conversating with you, it's like it's really awesome.
Appreciate that.
So, in collaboration, are you somebody that likes to collaborate with as many people as they can that would be the right collaboration, or do you have like an ultimate collaboration list?
I don't have a list, but what I do expect in a collaboration is for somebody to put in as much work as they're expecting from me. So I've worked with people in the past that say, "Here's a vocal, do your thing." "Oh, you made me sound great," but I'm like, "Oh, but there's a certain line in here that well, I'm not re-recording it. Just use that." Well, that's me putting my name on something that I'm not happy with. So you have to take as much pride in your craft as what you are expecting me to put into it. You know, Otherwise you could lose me in the process. Um,
Right.
so I'm open to collaborations with anyone. And I don't care if you're just starting out or you need some guidance or whatever. I'm fine with that as long as when the guidance comes, you're willing to take it and do something with it. I've worked with people in there like, well, I don't know how to do this, and you just tell them, and then they go off and do it, and it's like, wow, you know. But they probably took a whole day or two working on it, and that's fine. I don't expect a collaboration to take half a day and send me the rest of it over. Work on it. So that's what my goal is really with collaborations. In the past, I've been quick to rush, just to jump on the bandwagon, but it hasn't always worked out. So as long as somebody's willing to put the work in, I'll work with them.
That's cool. So if anybody's looking,
Yeah.
hit them up. Um, for my experience with me playing around with like GarageBand and stuff, trying to make a track is for me it is very eye intensive.
Hmm.
How is it for you?
Wow. I sit in a dark room with the computer now turned to the dark, the dark screen. So it's not putting too much pressure on my eyes anymore. I sometimes, I mean, I wear glasses, but um, yeah, I mean, I'm not always looking at the screen though. So maybe on playback and stuff like that, I might look at it, but also you can reset the colors on there too. So if you got bright colors and hurts your eyes, you can always change them to darker colors or whatever, different shades. So
Yeah, that would work for everybody that's got headaches for the
yeah,
headache stuff first. No, I have cataracts on top of the RP.
yeah.
So it makes it a little bit 5 minutes looking at that, trying to put loops in and stuff like that. I end up getting a headache.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah,
So that part's a little bit rough. So it's like at some point I'm gonna need help from people.
yeah.
And it's not even like help, it's like working with
Right.
um somebody because there's a difference between working for somebody and working with somebody.
And
Big
that's the thing.
difference.
That's exactly what I was just going to say, and that's what goes back to that collaboration thing. When you tell me just do what you can, I'm working for you. If you say what can we do, we're working together. you
That's
know,
right.
you
That's
know.
right.
So
What was that? I forgot. I was just good. It was just right there. I was gonna ask you too about the hmm, I don't know if it's important. It'll come back around. Um, so what are the favorite activities that you like to enjoy during your downtime?
spending time with my family. I like traveling. Um, my wife is my best travel buddy, always has been. So we love going on road trips. We just have the best time hanging out. Um, I like to play golf.
That's cool.
Um, yeah, and that's about it, really.
Do you hunt or fish?
No, no.
Oh,
I used to fish when I was little, but no.
where is the one place that you would love to take your wife that you have not been yet?
To Ireland, we've done we've done England, Scotland, Switzerland, Germany, all the mainland Europe, but we haven't made it to Ireland yet. I'd like to take it there.
That would be awesome.
Hmm.
I heard it's beautiful over there.
Yeah.
I have a question. Now that you've been here in the US for some time,
Yep.
do you see a difference between our candy and candy back home in England?
Yes.
Because not all this now that I'm gonna tell everybody because my ex mother-in-law, she's from England. So I had an opportunity to taste some real jelly bellies, and I could tell everybody here in the US that does not know, the ones you find in the US stores, you gotta go to a special store or order them online and then have them shipped because they are not the same.
No. Nope. And the chocolate's different too.
Yes.
I mean, you guys have got Hershey's. I think though, to be quite honest, I think that they're all owned by the same company now, but the taste is still regional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Mars bars from England are not the same as the candy bars from here.
Well, they're not. The Mars bars here are not Mars bars over there. They're Milky Ways. So they have the different names too. Like Snickers were marathons, and you know, such and such. So you get a Mars bar over there. I don't even know what it is over here actually. That would be even close. A Milky Way tastes more like the Mars bar over there. And yeah, so they must have had it switched around, put different wrappers on them or something. I don't know, but the taste is totally different.
Yeah, but the taste. I'm gonna tell you guys, if you find it in a regular store, make sure you know what store you're going to, because otherwise it's not the same.
Yeah, and stop messing with peanut butter, man. That's nasty. It's like it's one of the most mind messing things over here. So we have a lot of like orange chocolate and stuff in the UK, and that color is the orange, right? You come over here, you pick up something orange, and it's peanut butter, and it's like, what the hell? So
Yeah, no,
I
I
can't
like.
eat, I can't
Yeah,
eat peanut butter. I can't do it. Sorry.
well, plus it makes your mouth too dry.
Yeah. Plus, there's no reason to eat it.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have been making it into a candy in the first place.
right. So when people are coming to your area for to see a concert or of whoever's playing, is there a restaurant or an area that you can, like a tourist site that you recommend that people should check out?
Well, I'm close to Madison in Wisconsin, and that's a pretty good artsy town. I mean, a lot of music come out of Madison. I think um, remember Garbage, the Butch Vig and all them, they came out of there. Um, Nirvana recorded their first album there, so it's got a pretty strong musical DNA in Madison. So, like, if you was going to like the Alliant Energy Center to watch somebody play or whatever, I definitely recommend going downtown or walking around the square, the Capitol Square. You'll find something to do down there.
Nice.
Yeah, that rhymed a little bit too.
It did. I, hey, yeah, that's what we do.
Yep, that's it. So
Do you have a favorite song that you're most proud of that you've written or composed?
yeah, my favorite one, and I'll tell you the backstory of it and how long it took me to write it. So it was Better Man, which I released back in 2017 or 18, I think it was. And I wrote that. I wrote the music to that when I was about 14 years old, and it just stuck with me. I used to play it all the time, and it wasn't until about 2017, I believe it was, a very close family friend, which I called him my uncle, got cancer, and he was dying, and um, he was like a father figure to me because I didn't know my real dad, and so I wanted to pay respect to him, um, and he liked that music, so I pulled it out again and I just started playing it. And I started it out as an instrumental. I thought, oh, I'll just play it as an instrumental for him. But then I collaborated on it with a guy named Meki Makunda and wrote Better Man. And if anybody listens to it, you'll see the point behind the song. And it was basically about he didn't have to step up, but he did. And now that he's going, through cancer or whatever, I will always be there for him. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Before he died, he got to listen to it, and he chose to have it played at his funeral. So that was probably my, proudest moment was that he got to listen to it because he was in a pretty bad way, and when his son put the song on, he actually cracked a smile. So it's like it resonated. It did its thing. So I don't care if anybody else likes it or not. That was what the purpose was behind the song, but a lot of people did resonate with it when it came out. So that's the song I'm most proud of.
And a lot of people might think that, but I think this, that was quite an honor to have that played at his funeral as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that, but
Mm-mm. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. It was something I never expected, but it was like because I wasn't able to attend his funeral because it was in the UK and I was over here, and so I just got back before I got to see him before he passed away. So they live streamed his funeral for me, so I was able to see it. And I didn't know they were going to play it. So then when it came on, I was like, "Whoa!" you know. So yeah.
Now, I recently seen a post on Jasmine Kane's thing, saying something about why is it that people prefer to have a good cover artist or have like a really kick ass band with all their own originals and stuff. And down here in South Carolina, some places prefer covers because it gets people to pay the
Hmm.
bar. However, I actually prefer when I go out to see music, I prefer to hear the originals because back in when I was growing up, the last three songs of every set was always covers. That was it. The three at the end. That's how you knew
Hmm.
that the show was coming to an end.
Hmm.
But now everybody just wants covers. I want to go back to the olden days back in the 1900s. What do you think?
I agree with it. I think what's happened is the music industry. Okay, first of all, independent music is not amateur music. That's a misconception that everybody has. It doesn't mean that you don't have to work as hard as any other musician. It just means that you are independent. You're not tied to a contract with a major label. Now, that being said, if an artist that's not got a following and all they're doing is Facebook lives or whatever, and they go and get hired to go and sing at a bar, people aren't going to know what they're singing, and they're going to be like, "Well, I don't know what this song is," and it doesn't resonate because there's a person sitting there just playing. Um, Normally, what people would do is showcase their talent by playing a song that everybody knows, but you've got to make it your own. So it almost sounds like an original, but people know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So like if you're gonna cover a Bob Dylan song, make it your own. You can't sing like Bob Dylan, so just
No.
make it your own. So that's what I'm saying. I think people get discouraged because they go there with a little book that they've been writing all their songs in the studio or the living room or whatever, and they go, right, I'm out, I'm going to go out and I'm going to perform these, and they start playing and everyone starts talking because they don't recognize what this music is. Whereas if you started off with, say, I don't know, a happy song or whatever that everybody knew, and then say, hey, how about I play you an original, they may accept that better than just actually sitting in a room full of interact with the crowd, I guess is what I'm saying. Is like
Yeah.
find out what they want. So if you're going to, I mean, there's no point singing country music if the bar is like a rock, like a dive bar where they're playing rock songs. Listen
Right.
to go there, listen to the jukebox, see what everybody's putting on, and then appeal to that crowd. And I think that's what the misconception is like songwriters go out there go, I want to showcase what I do, but not everybody cares like you do.
Right.
Not,
And yeah, and I've seen some artists go out do start out with a cover, and then everybody loved the cover so much that they just been playing it, and they thought they were all covers
hmm yeah.
because you can't let on,
Well,
but
the worst thing you want to do is piss off the crowd to the point where they don't bring you back because you're trying to make money to pay your bills because you want to be in it, you want to be a musician, right? You want to make money from it. Well, they're your customers. Give them what they want, not what you think they want. You know, know your crowd. So
exactly.
put your personality out there. Tell them what you're gonna do. Hey, I'm gonna start off by singing a Elvis song or whatever, and then they go, "Wow, that was really good." Now I'm gonna do an original, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm interested to see what he writes." See what I'm saying? There's a difference. So
Yes.
you got to.
And there's nothing wrong with a well executed cover as well, as long as you make
No.
it sound like
Mhm.
you were the original one doing it. So,
Yeah, be yourself. Everyone else is taken.
right. Also, too, do you feel that in music nowadays people are over compressing themselves? Because, like, there's a lot of people that sound exactly the same.
When you say overcompressing, what do you mean? From the
Like
technical
they,
term?
yeah, on the technical term, on like when you're in production and stuff like that with the compression and stuff, it's like everybody sounds the same.
Well, my thing is this with production, if you've never studied production and you try to go into it, there it doesn't come with okay, there's guidelines of what things do, right? It's for your ears to work the rest of it. So not it's not a one size fits all.
No,
And there are people that call themselves producers and engineers, and they say that because they put their guitar through an interface and recorded it on a Audacity or whatever program they use, right? Well, there's a lot more to it than just that.
yeah, a lot
Um,
more.
and I think people will go, well, I watched a YouTube video and they said if I use this ratio on the compressor, that it'll make me sound like I'm, in a concert hall. Well, that's not necessarily the case because they don't know where you recorded it.
Right.
So they don't know what treated room you were in. They don't know how far away you were from the microphone. That compression may not work. And people may not understand what compression is. It's like EQing. What are you doing? You're turning the knobs to do what? You're taking the low end out, you're bringing the high end in, you're taking the high end out. You want to, people. I think the reason that this, like you just mentioned, the word compression, the reason it sounds so muddy is because people don't know how to split the space in the frequencies. So if you imagine sitting watching the stage, right? If you got audience perspective, the guitar player isn't running from one side to the other. He's on one side, right? But people think that, oh, I'll use this production technique where I just keep panning it from left to right. It gives it this, big sound or whatever. It's like, no, it doesn't. It makes it sound like your guitar player's running across the stage and running back, It's okay to split it off and make it sound like there's two of them. But remember what the source is. You can't take a bass guitar and make it stereo when it's a mono input. All you're doing is raising the volume. You're not making it bigger. So it's tips like that. So I think that's why when people are in their programs and they go, oh, this sounds like it was produced in a big studio. No, when you actually listen to it afterwards, put it through my ears or somebody else's ears with experience. They're like, no, the bass drum and the bass guitar are conflicting with each other. There's too much frequency there. You got to cut it out. Duck it there or whatever. So you can tell the difference. So yeah, it's not a one day or an interview class. Where you can just tell somebody, no, you want to try this or you want to try that, because without sitting in the room and listening to it, you don't know what the outcome is going to be.
No, you really don't. There's a lot that actually goes to production. A
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yeah.
And if anybody's misconcepted that you can just like boom, 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 no.
Nope. Not at all.
Because you got to make sure every little tiny little like measure, every little thing's in
Yeah.
the right position, that it's stacked right, that you don't got too many things running together. Like, so.
Well, there's dynamic based and there's time based effects, and it's how you use them. I mean, you don't want to put a reverb on a snare drum and the rest of the drums in a different room. That doesn't sound right. So what you do is
No,
you aug that to an aug track, and then you put them in the old same space. So there's things like that people don't understand too.
no.
And knowing how an instrument plays too. So like
Exactly.
if you're going to play a violin, don't play it like you're playing a piano because it won't sound right.
No.
Especially when you're sitting here with a keyboard and everyone's like, I got a full orchestra in my door or whatever, and it's like, yeah, but you don't know how to play an orchestra. It's not going to sound right if you just play it like a piano.
Right.
So, yep.
Because not everything records at the same frequency either. I mean, you can record it, but you got to fix it so it fits
Mm-hmm.
together.
Yep. And know where it belongs.
Yes, that, and watch your timing, because some people get the timing sometimes when they send me stuff. the drums like way too fast, and I told them, and then they're like, "No, no, no." I'm like, "Go back and listen."
Well, there's some other things too I've noticed in timing is if you if you're trying to if you're trying to play a 6/8 song and you've got the drums set to 4/4 and you're still counting 6/8, it's like it's not going to work. It's not going to line up at all. So know your time signatures too. You know.
Yes, 'cause if not, it's gonna be a mess.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, you're working on your album, and that should be by the end of the year. You said or saying?
Yep. I'm hoping to. Yeah. Yep.
Well, if not, we'll be waiting. I can't wait.
Well, I
Yes,
got a lot of work to do, but yes, it's coming. It's coming. Yeah.
yes. Is there anything that you do for like a pre-vocal warm up that any tips that may help others watching?
Um. Yeah, I do. Stay hydrated is one. I mean, I don't do all these fancy little quirky warm up exercises, but I don't record the first couple of I don't record the first take and just go with that. I mean, I warm up to it because there's certain things you have to do in there, to get to certain notes. Um, so try different keys when you're actually doing a song. Try it in a different key. You might find it comfortable to hit that high note. Don't start high if you got to go higher. you
No,
know? So that's the only tip I can say because I'm not really a singer. I just like singing. You know, so my instruments, no, I like to create music more than sing it, but I guess you have to have fun a little bit.
yes, you really do.
Mm.
You really do. Hopefully, one day we could see you out playing somewhere. That would be awesome.
I hope so. I mean, like I said, I don't see it in my future right now, but you never know. I might have a song that may change that. I don't know.
I don't know either. But I've kept you long enough, I think. And anytime you want to come back on, just let me know.
I
I'd be
appreciate it.
more
I
than
really
happy
do.
to have you.
Yeah.
So I would like to tell everybody in closing, thank you to everybody that's watching. Shout out to my new hometown of Anderson, South Carolina, because y'all above and exceeded beyond. And thank you for all the downloads. It's much appreciated. Everybody that is watching or hears this on the streaming version, make sure that you go follow John KT on Spotify. Go check out his website. Is there any other places that you are on?
Yeah, you can check me out on iTunes, Apple Music, um, Tidal, Amazon. You can
So
follow
you're
me on
like
Facebook.
American Express everywhere.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, so I'm gonna wish everybody peace, love, respect. See you guys on the flip side. Blazy out.